One more. Good morning. Welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of Rochester. We are a church of open minds and loving hearts, celebrating many sources of wisdom and many spiritual paths. Your faith, your doubts, your questions, your identities are welcome here. Today, our entire offering collection goes out the doors of our church to support our September Justice Partner, Family Promise, working with folks experiencing homelessness in our area. You can give us a Plates Pass or any time online throughout the month. Thank you for your generosity for that work. And a special welcome to newcomers and visitors. We're glad you're here this morning. There's a preschool playroom open throughout the morning for young ones, and there's activities for kids following the Time for All Ages. Kids will go out for a little bit and then come back for our ritual of water at the end. And then after service, all are welcome to join us for refreshments down in the Commons, where you can find ways to get involved in the church and the community. For today and the next couple weeks, there are some special sign-up tables down there, as well as these Get Involved booklets you can pick up to find ways to get involved in small groups, classes, volunteering, and more. We encourage everybody to be part of a group that nurtures your spirit and find a way to help and serve this community as well. So you can find all the information in the booklet, visit the tables downstairs to sign up, or contact the office with any questions as well. There's a lot happening this church season as we kick off this fall part of our year. So you can read your e-news for many important updates to stay up to date or in your order of service, but here are a few highlights if you just want to keep them auditorily in your mind. So today at 12:30 is a special forum with Locus Architects, who will present some preliminary concept designs for our new church home after hosting many forums over several months. You can join us here in the sanctuary for that, or view the recording after this forum, probably in the e-news this week. And then the next 2 Wednesdays, as well as an online survey, there will be opportunities to share your thoughts and reflections about the designs in this exciting process. So you can join us today here in the sanctuary at 12:30, or watch it online later if you're not able to be here. And speaking of Wednesdays, this Wednesday, Tupper Suppers and Forums return. Supper is served by cook teams each week at 5:30, and then most weeks that's followed by a forum at 6:15 and choir. And once a month, in place of a forum, there'll be some dinner conversations instead, so we're trying out some new things this fall. So this week's supper is at 5:30, followed by a forum at 6:15 with the Building Our Future team about these designs and the path moving forward. It will be recorded if you can't be there as well. So join us every Wednesday night for supper at 5:30. And next week, following services at 1:30, we'll have a ceremony of dedication at the site of our new or future church home at the southeast corner of Viola Road and East Circle Drive. You can park at Century High School, and then we'll gather on some fairly bumpy ground for fair warning for a ceremony of dedication there at the top. You can bring a camping chair or an umbrella if it's raining or too sunny. Some shuttle assistance will be available from the parking lot there, some water and snacks as well, and trails have been prepared if you want to saunter the land a little bit after that ceremony. So all are welcome. You can find details this week in the e-news, but 1:30 next Sunday at the new location. And finally, today's service is a special one, our annual water communion. Later on, you'll be invited to come up and pour some water into the blue bowl in the center, either from water you have brought with you or from the pitchers that we've provided for you. That contains water from last year's water communion, where we boil the hell out of it and then we bring it back so it's nice and clean. It also contains some water from the new site for our future church home as well. So we'll invite you to come forward. The mics will be lowered so you can speak. As is our tradition, you're invited to share up to 7 words about your water, about its meaning or its significance to you. You're also more than welcome to pour silently during that time. So you'll be invited later on to come forward. At the end of the service, we'll then recess. For those who are able and willing, well, it might be a little drizzly out there, we recess to the memorial garden to share some of this water on the graves of our ancestors as well. So we'll end the service singing, going out there before coffee hour. So I invite you to take a breath as we enter our time together this morning. In just a moment, the music will call us back. But first, I invite you to take a breath and hear these words from the Reverend Eliza Tupper Wilkes, our minister in the 1870s. May our faith in humanity and our message of hope and good cheer light our way. It's good to be together. Just a moment, the music will call us back, but for now I invite you to rise in body or spirit and greet those around you. Verse 5.
Our chalice lighting words are from Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh. If you pour a handful of salt into a cup of water, the water becomes undrinkable. But if you pour the salt into a river, people can continue to draw the water to cook, wash, and drink. The river is immense, and it has the capacity to receive, embrace, and transform. When our hearts are small, our understanding and compassion are limited, and we suffer. But when our hearts expand, we have compassion and can embrace others, and then they and we have a chance to transform.
I don't know about you, but in the summer, I need my lake time. Our license plates proclaim Minnesota, land of 10,000 lakes. Well, 11,842 to be exact. That's 10 acres or more. Yet most of us live here in Olmsted County, one of the 4 counties in our state with no natural lakes, along with Mower, Pipestone, and Rock. I mean, we all have kind of a, inferiority complex here. Don't get me wrong. I walk along a river nearly every morning for both my physical as well as my mental health. But my soul does need lake time, especially in the summer. So to get my lake fix, I have to make a trip or go camping. And the stillness of the lake reflects the sky and assimilates my soul in a way that the flow of the river or the emotion of the ocean is unable to do. I'm not sure who wrote this verse. It's kind of a t-shirt poem called At the Lake. But it captures a sense of summer's lake time to me. Swim in the rain, dance under the moon, feel the sun on your face, and hear the wail of the loon. I ran across it this summer when I realized there were no hymns about lakes. There's hymns about oceans, seas, rivers, streams, springs, fountains, even the rain, but not lakes. So I set out to write one. I thought about lakes at midday, evening, at night, lakes in spring, summer, fall, winter, lakes in sun, moonlight, stars, wind, rain, and stillness. Maybe not so much about frozen lakes and snow, but I'm not really much of an ice fisherman. But what really inspired me was thinking of a family of swans that I saw swimming across a lake. While a peaceful and heartwarming sight in itself, it prompted me to think of the Finnish composer Jan Sibelius. Jan Sibelius' music was inspired by nature. He even wrote a piece called The Swan of Tunella. And while that piece is beautiful, it was really in the finale of Sibelius' Fifth Symphony, which he wrote in 1919, that I found my inspiration. In it, there's a magnificent melody the composer called his Swan Hymn. In his diary, he identified his inspiration for the theme, the sight of 16 swans flying in formation overhead. One of my greatest experiences, he said, Lord God, what beauty. They circled over me a long time, disappeared into the solar haze like a gleaming silver ribbon. I use that swan theme, which is a chaconne, a repeating series of chords, to lay the harmonic foundation of my hymn. And the words and mood just flowed into place when I thought about the promise of a dawn, a quiet rainy day, the peace of a sunset, and the wonder of a star-strewn sky over a quiet lake in the North Woods. As I said, I'm one who needs my lake fix. And these words of Wendell Berry capture these feelings. As a matter of fact, I almost always think of these words when I'm sitting by the lake in the summer. When despair for the world grows in me, and they wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds, and I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. And for a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. I hope this hymn captures some sense of the healing power of a lake. And today, let our music embrace you. let it settle your soul, embracing the silence when it is finished.
I'm going to have the kids just stay in their spots this morning, and they'll get an opportunity to come back up. But first, I have something today. What do I have with me today? My Wonder Box. Anybody have any guesses about what's in my Wonder Box today? Water. That's a pretty good guess. In fact, it's a little pitcher of water. And I'm going to put a little bit in here because when we talk about water, I don't think this water came from our drinking fountain.
That's very natural.
This is very natural water in here. There is water that came from our drinking fountain. But did you know that the water from our drinking fountain could have come from pretty much anywhere in the world? Because the water, it kind of gets recycled in a way. It falls from the sky as rain, goes to our rivers, lakes, streams, evaporated, the whole water cycle. And water is one of those things that we use as a symbol for life. Why do you think that is? Adults, you can play too. Why is water a symbol for life? We need it to survive. It's what nourishes our soul, nourishes our body, and helps us to flourish. Nourish means it feeds us, it gives us hope, it gives us blood, it gives us all sorts of things, which is part of the reason why we start each church year with the water communion. Because we bring water from anywhere in the world, literally, or our drinking fountain, or our sink down in the kitchen, water that has too come from anywhere in the world. And that is part of the reason why we want the kids to participate in this as well, because they are part of our future. So it is that they should be part of this ritual that we use to kick off our year. It's also a way for us to welcome in the new church year, program year, however you want to mark these days, school year for many of our children. And so we're going to go down and we're going to talk about some ways to welcome. So get your thinking caps on, kids. And then we're going to come back up and welcome and join all our water so we can nourish our souls throughout the year. Children, you're welcome to stay up here for the service. If you'd like to come down and do the activity with me, we'll meet right over by that door.
I invite you to take a deep breath. Breathe deep the breath of life. Feel below you the earth and its waters and its ancient turning. Above you the sky, and beyond that the stars shining with their ancient light, holding you in this moment, this breath. You yourself made of earth and water and stars. Know that in this house you are named, you are known as beloved, as sacred. I invite you into this time of meditation, this time of prayer, first by sharing silence together. Spirit of life, source of love, fount of justice, God and Gaia of many names and beyond all naming. be it jagged or smooth, calm or raging, the rocks of the river or the flow of waters or the rhythm of the soul can feel sometimes like a trickle and sometimes like a flood, overwhelming us with gratitude or with grief, filling the spaces of our heart, of our mind, with joy, with sorrow, with love. Help us learn from the waters of which the earth is made and we are made, that we might stay connected, sources of life and love that are more ancient and reach more widely than we often know. Today in this community, we're glad to celebrate with Robin Taylor and Joe Lobel, celebrating 40 years of marriage. This day we hold many who are holding loved ones in their heart. We hold Gail Bishop and the Bishop family mourning the loss of Gail's mother, Irene, nearly 99 years old, lived a full life, returning to school to be a nurse and being a nurse up into her 80s. We hold her life in gratitude and the family in love. We hold in our hearts this day all those who suffer in mind, body, or spirit. I invite you to bring the names you're holding in your own heart this day in joy or sorrow, celebration or concern, and silently or aloud now in this time, just speak their names. For all the names spoken and unspoken, may we all be held in love. These words of meditation are from Unitarian Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. The sea awoke at midnight from its sleep, and round the pebbly beaches far and wide I heard the first wave of the rising tide rush onward with uninterrupted sweep. A voice out of the silence of the deep, a sound mysteriously multiplied as of a cataract from the ocean side, of roar of winds upon a wooded steep. So comes to us at times from the unknown, and inaccessible solitudes of being, the rushing of the sea tides of the soul, and inspirations that we deem our own are some divine foreshadowing and foreseeing of things beyond our reason or control. May the rising tides of mystery and the sea tides of the soul wake us at midnight and throughout our lives and carry us beyond our reason to love. May it be so. Amen. In gratitude, we'll receive today's offering.
A reading from Cahill Kilbran. It is said that before entering the sea, a river trembles with fear. She looks back at the path she has traveled from the peaks of the mountains, the long winding road crossing forests and villages. And in front of her, she sees an ocean so vast that to enter there seems nothing more than to disappear forever. But there is no way back. The river cannot go back. Nobody can go back. To go back is impossible in existence. The river needs to take the risk of entering the ocean because only then will fear disappear. Because that's where the river will know it's not about disappearing into the ocean, but of becoming the ocean.
If it's happened enough times, you tend to enter more cautiously. Let me explain. Over time, the jagged rocks become smooth under the current of a long-running river. Sometimes they become more slippery than you imagine or could see. It's an experience, though, that may have happened more than a few times to me or loved ones at the Mississippi headwaters in particular, or other places, or places where you know the rocks are jagged and harsh on the banks. They hurt your feet, but under the water, oh, they are deceptively smooth. And so you brace yourself before you decide, because you've fallen here before and you think, I'm going in, and I'm sure now I know how to do this. No, you fall down again, multiple times, and you remember in humility and wetness that you're not in control of everything. It is said that before entering the sea, writes the poet, a river trembles with fear. That to enter there seems nothing more than to disappear forever, but there is no other way. The river needs to take the risk, because that's where the river will know it's not about disappearing into the ocean, but of becoming the ocean. Trembling with fear before entering. How many ways, how many times have you done this in your own life? The trembling at some threshold, hesitation, the uncertainty, the knots in the stomach before you enter whatever it is. Or, as a beloved young one I know always said, there's a nervous string attached to my tummy, she'd say. And if you're too far from home, too far from what is familiar, the string will break and release butterflies. And while you want to reattach that string, what you do, once it's broken, in the meantime, you notice the beauty of the butterflies that have been released. We know this in simple ways. We know this in this building, like waiting at the top of the stairs, looking down into the commons, an ocean of conversation, to newcomers, a sea of strangers, even to long-timers. Entering a crowd of unstructured conversation is an uncomfortable thing for many. Imagine a threshold of being a building team waiting to show preliminary designs to a congregation. Deep breath in, deep breath. Or imagine being the architects, wading into the waters of 400 adults with 800 opinions about walls and toilets and parking lots, but also holding beautiful dreams of natural inspiration, welcoming spaces in harmony with humanity and land, and saying, here, architects, make our dreams come true. Sometimes to enter those spaces, cross those thresholds, whatever they are, the seas of uncertainty, the risk of not knowing, the overwhelmingness of all that is yet still being defined, you're going to tremble a bit, as one should, inside or out. There are moments in life, maybe in each day, where you feel so daunted by whatever is before you that you can't help but pause and be humbled by the immensity of it all. And take a staggered breath and say, all right, here we go. And you take the risk, take the plunge to become part of something larger than yourself. That is what the water communion is about. We share part of our own story and join it within the larger story. That's what our entire religious tradition is about. Many strands held within the larger fabric. A reminder that individualism, not being able to get beyond our own preferences, our own biases, our own way of thinking things, or our own way of doing things, makes us ragged and frayed. That's what the Building Our Future process has been about and is about, not following into the traps of consumeristic individualism. That this isn't exactly how I want it to be, or the quick-to-complain capitalism that runs rampant, the all-or-nothing response. Well, if it isn't perfect, then I don't like any of it. Sometimes, to hold all of that within a person or within a community, you got to tremble a little bit. to remember our humanness, to remember the messiness, and the invitation of risk and possibility, always coming on the shores of uncertainty. And if you think about it, every day is an uncertain threshold of what is yet to come. Every breath, a tentative possibility yet to be. And perhaps the question for us in our daily lives, in our spiritual questions, is not how will I forge my way in the sea, but instead, how might we ride the waves? How might we join our hopes and dreams so that wherever we find ourselves, together we become an ocean's worth of love and welcome, a sea's worth of justice like an ever-flowing stream, so that every trembling soul on the edge of the shore, or the thresholds of the commons, or a student at the doorway of a classroom, or the troubled soul trying to enter the day, the mind and the heart on the jagged rocks of the bank, not sure if you're quite ready, and maybe knowing none of us are really ever completely ready. And yet there is no other way. And you take the risk into wild and choppy, uncharted waters, knowing we will be there amidst the storm, riding the waves together.
The water communion ritual began in Unitarian Universalism when two women, Carolyn McDade, who wrote Spirit of Life, and Lucille Shark, led a ritual when they gathered for a national convention for women and religion. They wrote, "Water is more than simply a metaphor. It is elemental and primary, calling forth feelings of awe and reverence. Acknowledge that the ocean is considered by many to be a place from which all life on our planet came. It is the womb of life. The water communion ritual is a story, a new story of creation and empowerment.
So today, as we gather here, we'll invite you to come forward to pour water into this center bowl from these pitchers or water you have brought. You're welcome to come to these microphones on the side, come kind of from around the side. And if you'd like to speak up to 7 words about your water, you're welcome to, or you can pour silently as well. This water is from last year's water communion in part. It's in part from the City of Rochester public water system, and it is in part from the land of our new location as well. And we pour it all in. And we understand that together we are connected to the earth and to each other. If you're at home or online, we invite you to find some water and pour it into earth or soil, or pour it over your hands as a blessing of water, of landscape, of people or feeling. So as is tradition here, we'll first have a reading, and then we'll invite you to come up and share your water.
A reading from Toni Morrison. You know, they straightened out the Mississippi in places to make room for houses and livable acreage. Occasionally, the river floods these places. Floods is the word they use, but in fact, it's not flooding. It is remembering. Remembering where it used to be. All water has a perfect memory and is forever trying to get back to where it was. Writers, artists are like that, remembering where we were, that valley we ran through, what the banks were like, the light that was there, and the route back to our original place. It is emotional memory, what the nerves and the skins remember, as well as how it appeared. And a rush of imagination is our flooding.
So come. Share your water here, knowing that it is sacred, and together we create beauty and nourishment.
Lake Superior, Michigan side, and Minnesota side.
Alaska, baby biscuit, out of oven, embraced.
This is water with salt harvested from the San Juan Islands, sea salt, and it's in this very special wedding vase that is from the Taos Pueblo in New Mexico, and Dave and I used this in our wedding ceremony. Our parents put water in here, and this morning our children filled this with water. Water is life.
From UU Viola Springfed Creek.
Mississippi Headwaters, Slippery Rocks.
Precious water collected from the rain gauge this morning.
Colorado, at our niece's wedding last week.
RPU water with some graham cracker backwash.
Reed's Lake, Mom and Jim, pontoon sunset.
Blessed rain.
From the shores of Gitchigumi.
Garden hose, basil, tomato, peppers, morning glory, and moonflower.
Yesterday's rain. Hooray!
Tomatoes, potatoes, tomatillos, cucumbers, zucchini, beets, thanks.
Water from home, happiness, memories, forgiveness, and labradoodles.
Kitchen tap water, no need to boil.
Wedding celebrated, chicken wings ate, side lake.
Rhine River, Strasbourg, France, ancestral home.
From the old Mississippi.
Representing the pond at Perpich Arts High School.
Eastport Ocean Waters comforts our beloved long COVID daughter. Dulac, Lahinch, Ackle Island, Inishbofin Island, rain. And I'm not cheating, this is for Kim. Emerald Island surrounded by water.
Water from our new home in Rochester.
Sun, sand, and family.
Lake Erie, Watergate, river, precious family time.
The water that fell on First UU, with love and thanks for the support and healing that I felt here this last year.
Here we gather our waters, our lives together. East from the Zumbro, the Mississippi, the Atlantic. South from the Root River, the Rio Grande, the Caribbean. North from Cascade Creek, Lake Superior, the Arctic. West from Salem Creek, the Missouri, the Pacific.
We gather it in from any and every source. With this water, we will anoint those who are ill. We will bless the graves of ancestors. We will bless new souls of babies and children, including that one soon. Because water is nourishment, and water is life. As is our tradition, we end the service by visiting our ancestors and bringing them waters. There are ancient traditions in many cultures of pouring libations and blessings of water for ancestors. So I invite you to bring to mind both ancestors you are holding in your own heart and family lineage and in sacred memory and love, as well as those who created this space for us. We honor them. Rose and Joe will introduce the song. The lyrics are in your order of service, so you can bring that with if you'd like. We'll probably lose the melody a little bit as we go, and we will regather it in the memorial garden.